Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Welcome to Yes Have Some. Playtime's over. And you haven't seen my friend Andy anywhere, have you? I've been looking for him. I just want to pay him a visit, I swear. No funny business. Tonight on the podcast, we're going to be talking about me, Chucky. We're going to be doing voodoo and hopefully slitting some throats and killing some people. Because that's what I do best. And like they say, you can't keep a good guy down. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to introduce you to your hosts, Craig, Abbey, and Jake. And they better be careful, or I'll kick their fucking teeth in!
All right, thank you, Mr. Chucky.
Was that him?
That was him. He's here.
I very appreciate him. Like, I just want to say thank you to him for, breaking away from his very important schedule and recording a bumper for the Yes Have Some podcast.
From all of his murders.
I think, thanks, Charles Lee Ray. I just wanted, if I ever win an award, if I ever do something that award worthy and I win the award, if it's an Emmy or an Oscar or even like a most improved player for like a recreation soccer league.
That's gonna happen. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
One day.
You might be sitting next to one right now.
You won that. What'd you win?
Most improved in soccer.
What grade was that?
Wow.
That was freshman year. We didn't win a game, but I won most improved. So.
Is this a homeschool thing?
No,
or?
Jake. This was private school.
Oh,
there were other soccer players besides
real
me.
school. Okay, cool.
If I ever win an award, I'm just going to get up there and say, this is dedicated to the Lakeshore Strangler. We love you, Chuck.
We love you, Chuck.
We love you, Chuck.
Don't fuck with the Chuck.
Don't fuck with the Chuck. Thank you to Chucky for stopping by, and he seemed a little aggressive.
Yeah.
Right.
But
A little
that's,
angry towards the end.
to be expected.
He's
He's got some baggage.
He's got some... I mean, think about if your life was every couple years... You try and go and murder this kid, and you never can. And
He's trying to get in a new body. He's chasing it down.
And then...
And they're never, good options.
They're not. But you know what my question is? In between movies when he's dead, and then, however many years goes by, the next movie happens, and something happens to bring him back to life. Does he, Is that just taking a nap to him?
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. He's dormant box time, right before he arrives at the house.
I don't know what's happened. Is his conscious still in there? And he's like, fuck, please somebody do something stupid and wake this body up.
Yeah.
Or is it oh, fuck, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Right. Well, I know he smokes a lot of weed in Bride of Chucky, so maybe he just has a nice little cocoon nap. Has a lot of snacks.
God, what's it been? 10 years, I guess. I better go find Tiffany and see what she's doing.
I like how that he keeps up with whatever's going on in pop culture for whenever he comes back.
He knows that.
Sure.
Why'd they cancel that show?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have time? He had
Hannibal?
time for that?
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. If you didn't know already,
He gets super pop culture savvy after the third movie.
Oh,
for sure.
There's some okay, so hi everybody, welcome to Yes Have Some podcast.
We're getting into it already.
Yeah, we're there. If you didn't realize what's happening, this is our month of horror. That we talk about horror movies all the time. We're picking a different franchise every week, breaking it down tooth and nail, knife and barber knife. Barber knife, is that a thing?
Scissors.
Razor?
Yeah, razor.
There it is.
Barber knife. Razor.
Barber's knife.
And this week, what we did last week is we decided that Child's Play would be our first week. So tonight we're talking all about Child's Play, and we're celebrating the release of the very latest installment of the Child's Play
that was
series.
the seed of this podcast.
The seed of...
You like that reference?
Seed of podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I hate that word.
That's my fake fan film I'm working on.
Seed.
Son of Ghostbuster.
Oh, that's good, though.
So, yeah. Tonight's all about Child's Play. We announced that we were going to do Child's Play. Then we put up a poll on Yes Have Some Group Therapy on Facebook, and Child's Play isn't dead last.
It's not. It's not a
doing
fan
well.
favorite.
So we were like, you know what? Fuck them.
We're doing it.
doing it
first.
Child's
anyway.
Play.
I don't care.
We're gonna
Hey,
kick it off.
Whatever's in first place, we're not doing that either.
Yeah. It's going to be a nightmare on Go Fuck Yourself Street. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
So, So, how are you guys doing? I mean, I think we've all spent some time with Chucky over the last couple of days, either indulging for the first time, re-indulging, reintroducing, and of course, Cult of Chucky, the brand new release, is out. Just released yesterday. It's on Netflix, so you can go check it out.
I just watched it last night, so
Right, we're gonna get a little detailed a little bit later, but I do want to say right off the bat, when you're talking about horror franchises, you're talking about your Friday the 13th every
there it is.
time. Jake, are you on the set of Child's Play 1
I
right now?
am. This is Child's Play is happening
Yes,
in
Chucky there.
Valdosta right now.
All right, so give us the play-by-play. I hear an ambulance. What's happening?
Well, an ambulance just drove by, so
Okay.
that's all I know.
That's all you got?
all
Well,
I got.
we'll stay tuned for
How's your
more.
babysitter?
Stay tuned. Yeah, I'll know.
Yeah, is your babysitter okay? All right, so Child's Play. I want to go ahead and give some props. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to celebrate the life of Charles Lee Ray tonight, but right off the bat,
The ongoing life,
his ongoing existence.
cyclical existence.
I want to go ahead and say, I think it's really cool that these movies have been going on since like 1988, and they're still going strong, and they've done one thing that most movies have done. I'm going to rephrase that sentence. They've done the one. What I'm trying to say is they have not rebooted, they have not remade, they have not done any kind of like selective sequel or this one counts, this one doesn't. When you're watching Cult of Chucky, you will realize that all of the Child's Play movies matter. I'm going to get a shirt that says all Child's Play movies matter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear it.
All Chuckies matter.
All Chucky's matter. I like that. And also, listen, some of these movies are straight,
Even that short-haired Chucky.
some of these
Yeah. Oh God.
Jake, you just texted us.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jake's doing that thing where you text the other person at dinner.
God damn it.
Well, I was
No,
going to
Jake,
ask
I like it.
Jake, all right.
It's girl talk.
This is what I'm going to say. This is how the podcast rolls. Listen,
Jake's
guys.
like, beat me in the bathroom. I want to talk to you in the
Christ.
stall.
The answer is no. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
All right.
All right, fine.
So, I am proud of the Child's Play movies. They've moved on. They've moved forward. They've had some bumps in the road. They've gone horror. They've gone action. They've gone horror comedy. And Cult of Chucky's kind of a combination of all of those. But
The spirit of Chucky continues on. Charles Lee Ray.
thank you. Thank you. So I think, in all seriousness, I think it's really cool. I mean, you've seen it with every horror franchise. At some point, they've stopped, restarted. You see it with Halloween. Like, I was laughing the other day reading about how Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back for the new Halloween. And her daughter's being played by, oh God, I can't think of the actress's name. But she played
Judy Greer.
Judy Greer. She's the mom in Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
And
Oh, yeah. Arrested Development. Yeah.
my only thought was, how does Josh Hartnett feel about this?
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
what?
Josh Hartnett, the son of Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween H2O, who's just
Oh.
being
Oh,
erased from
Well.
history.
Now I need to see Halloween H2O because I had a
No.
huge Josh Hartnett crush.
Wow. That'll be the only reason you should watch it.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to Yes Have Some's Child's Play Smorgasbord. Is that what we're going to call it?
Sure.
Cool.
Celebrating Josh Hartnett
We're
all month long.
what else should we celebrate as far as Josh Hartnett goes?
I
The
can't.
Faculty.
There it is.
Faculty?
I can't think of
You've
one
seen
other.
that? It's a fun movie.
Was
What
he in
else
Pearl
is-
Harbor?
Huh? He was in
He
Pearl
was in
Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
We're gonna, guys. Next week we're doing the Pearl
Let's
Harbor episode.
celebrate Pearl
Maybe
Harbor.
we shouldn't. Maybe we shouldn't celebrate.
It was December 1941. All right, we're not gonna do that.
Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down. Perfect.
Perfect.
Cool.
No, we're not doing any of that. We are here to talk about Chucky, Child's Play. The series started in 1988, created by Don Mancini. What's really awesome is this guy has written every single Child's Play movie. So, like, he's been there since the beginning. He didn't direct the first couple. He's directed the last three. You could make an argument that he's 1 for 3, but Actually, you know what? I've been thinking about the new one all day. I'm really excited to talk about it here in a little bit. But let's just start at the beginning. Let's start with Chucky, Child's Play, 1988. I haven't watched it in a while. I think it's been about a year since I've actually watched the first one. But the one thing that I always forget is that, and a lot of people say it, it doesn't play like a straightforward like slasher movie or horror movie. It's kind of an 80s action film. Mm-hmm. Do you guys agree with that?
No.
Okay. So
the first Child's Play?
Yeah, it's like
you think it plays like an action film.
There's explosions. There's like
the movie. So the movie where the creepy doll is murdering people, and throwing a babysitter out a window.
Yep.
That's an action film.
And like transporting bodies, and like there's voodoo and curses.
There's voodoo. There's a tiny doll stabbing people.
See, that's like an action flick.
That's an action film.
Aren't you describing Die Hard right now? Isn't that the same plot? Okay, maybe it's not an action film.
Something different.
All right, to me, the point I'm trying to make is like it doesn't feel like Friday the 13th. It just, you know what? I think maybe
it's different.
It's because it takes place in Chicago and there's trains. You see like the train.
There's some trains.
Anytime you see a train and there's like a hard edged cop, I'm like, oh, this is an action movie, no matter what.
Got it.
that's I'm like, oh, it's an action movie. It's fine.
There's a cop in it.
Cool. So.
True.
I think I don't want to speak for everybody. I was kind of fascinated with Chucky when I was a kid, but I didn't really see the movies. My number one recollection from childhood with Chucky was just the box art from Child's Play 2 with the scissors on like the Jack in the Box.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's
a cool cover. Yeah.
Every time I went to the store, I saw that, and I was like, I'm not watching that. But I want to know what it is. But I'm not going to be into it. But once Child's Play 2 came out, it was kind of on the rotation on like UPN. Mm-hmm. So those movies were on all the time. Jake, did you watch those like a lot when you were a kid?
I did. You know, when I was really young, I was scared of Child's Play. I was scared of Chucky, and like my mom would use it against me to like, you know, go to bed and stuff like that.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, like she would put it on because it terrified you?
Oh no, she would like threaten me. She would be like, Chucky's gonna come.
Oh,
if you
my God.
That's
and
terrifying.
Like, so your mom was playing psychological warfare.
Exactly. At one point, I'm pretty sure she bought like a little Chucky doll, and she would like show it to me or like put it at the end of the hallway. I would like get up in the middle of the night and try to like sneak out of my bedroom, you know, and like she would put it, you know, in the hallway or something. So I would open the door and see it and be like, oh, I guess I got to stay in here.
Right.
Can we have your mom call in?
Yeah, because I feel like we need to work this out. I want to know, like, was it an actual screen accurate Chucky doll, or was it like a? I know
exactly which one it is. It's like one of those little plushy looking. It's very similar to like the
My Buddy
one that you can put on the. There's one that you can like that has like little suction cups and you can stick it to the car. It's like it's similar to that. It's like a little one. And I remember it, but after I grew up a little bit, still pretty young, like my mom was really good with like good or bad. I don't know, whichever like whichever way you can look at this, but my mom was really good about like when we went to the video store, just letting me rent whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
Bad.
So,
that's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, right? So when I was pretty young though, I started watching the Child's Play movies, and I from a younger, like I started off kind of scared of them, but like as I got a little older, they all became movies that I would watch very often. I've watched the first three, in particular, I've seen multiple times over and over.
I like how I think that it's traumatizing that your mom would like lie to you about how Chucky was real, but my parents told me that like watching those movies was a sin. So I basically was like terrified of them and was afraid of like the box art, just like you guys. But
you were terrified. I
thought I was going to go to hell.
Like you were going to go to hell, and I was terrified because I thought my mom was like striking a deal with the doll
to keep Jake out of the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
in
so
cahoots with Chucky.
Just to recap, because I like this. Abby's parents were
Hellfire and brimstone.
Yeah, they're trying to keep her away from eternal damnation. And Jake, you just were trying to get out of the hallway. Stay out of the hallway.
Jake just wanted to go get a
keep
snack.
me from bothering her. Like
So since we're talking about parents, my stepdad really liked the Child's Play movies because like they were on all the time, like on UPN. UPN would do those like, and for those of you who don't remember, UPN was kind of like a local channel, like CBS, but it was kind of like the lesser kind.
Yeah.
Like you still got it on free. You didn't need cable. Cable. You didn't need cable for
They didn't
it.
like Touched by an Angel and like Christie.
Yeah.
Those,
Stuff like
lower
that.
tier shows. Not PBS, but like something a little bit better. They
would
do like matinees and double features.
A lot of matinees, a lot of double features, and they would show a lot of horror movies on like Sunday afternoons. And Child's Play 2 was always in the rotation, and the other ones. As
USA used to play it a lot.
Another
USA
reason I didn't watch them, I was at church.
Always playing
so.
Child's Play.
There you go.
Right. While we were watching the
I was
horror
missing
marathon,
out.
you were seeing the real horrors
Yes.
at church.
Very scary.
So
We'll talk about that later.
this is another episode.
It's another podcast.
That's what
Listeners.
so this week we're doing Chucky. Next week we're gonna break down Jesus.
Yeah. Whoa.
I can't wait
breaking
to
it
record
down.
that
this
intro.
This is his body. This is his blood. Deal with it.
I'm the Holy Ghost with the most.
And I owe.
Does that mean anything? All right.
That's
move
good.
So, hey,
Hey.
my stepfather called him Chunky,
That's
and
amazing.
it made me so mad.
Chunky.
I knew that wasn't his name.
Yeah.
And he would be like, I'm Chunky. I'm going to get you. Kind of similar to what Jake's mom did, but he was saying he was Chunky. So, listen, Child's Play. It's weird when you're a kid, right? Because, like, you love toys, but the thought of, like, one of your favorite toys, like, being alive is scary enough. But then, like, that it's trying to kill you or, like, play Hide the Soul. Let's talk about Hide the Soul real quick. Hide the Soul sounds like something that, like, the guy who lives in your neighborhood who you're not supposed to, like, be around.
Yeah.
It sounds like the game he would play. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
You don't
that's
wanna
probably-
hide
I think
anything.
That's a purpose. That's purpose. They're trying. They want to make Chucky as creepy as possible.
Yeah.
right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't
the
want to
Soul.
play anything. I don't want to play Hide the Anything with anybody.
No, everything out in the open.
But so
Especially
yeah,
with strangers.
The cool thing, so Child's Play when it came out, it was super successful. It was well reviewed. I think it was kind of the first of its kind, right? Like I think maybe it was reminiscent of some like I don't know, Abby, you were saying like Twilight Zone stuff.
Yeah, Talking Tina is the episode that I was thinking of specifically.
Yeah.
Like having a doll like come to life and try to kill you is, I like that. It's like terrifying to flip something that's cute, which I don't think Chucky's cute, and neither was Tina from Talking Tina. And I guess the Annabelle movies, which I haven't seen, kind of play off the same thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
I've always thought the dolls were terrifying. I didn't like them as a kid at all. Like I remember getting them as gifts and being like, that shit's not my thing.
Well, he's like 100% based on the My Buddy doll.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you look at that thing,
I thought
it looks
those
like
were
Chucky.
scary,
Like
too,
it's pretty
yeah.
similar. Like it's pretty similar to what Chucky looks like.
I
It's
think
not
as a kid
cute.
I
It
thought
is
they
creepy.
were the same thing, basically. Like, there
So
was
the
a
My
kind of-
Buddy dolls were huge in the 80s. Do you guys remember the song?
My
My
buddy.
buddy. I used to have
buddy.
one.
My butt, wherever he goes. We go. Do you remember there was a girl version? You remember what it was?
What was
Kid sister.
Kid Sister.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
Kids.
that? Cool.
Hey,
Yeah.
if there's a girl version, I'm gonna know about it. Kyle. Love you, Kyle.
Love you,
We'll
Kyle.
get to you later.
We could probably get Kyle on the podcast.
Oh my god, I think so.
So,
but just for the stinger part,
right, just at the secret
post-credits.
scene.
the last 5 seconds.
Make sure she's wearing that hat though. So
Oh,
people
you
know
got
who
it.
she
It's
is.
the only picture of her on the internet, so you gotta have it. Gotta get that hat.
Child's Play was successful, and when a horror movie is successful, it's going to get sequels. A lot of the times, there's kind of diminishing returns. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Child's Play 2, continuation of the first one. Andy's in it. It's the same kid.
He's still little.
He's still kind of small. It was made, I think, probably the next year. We watched Child's Play 2 this week, and
It's great.
it's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Very fun.
Jake, what do you like about Child's Play 2?
It's fun. It's got a little more. They got a little crazier with some of the kills. The whole section at the end when he's in the toy factory it's really creepy. It's fun. All the other dolls and like he ends up very weird by the end of it, and he's like mutilated, and he's got a knife for a hand, and he's like a melted pile of it's just very weird, and it's a fun movie to watch. It's gross. It's got some really cool kills in it. It's definitely different from the first one. It doesn't quite have the same feel, but that's something we'll talk about. They didn't really get back until way later, but two
But
is
it
just
still
fun to
has
watch. It's like one might be the
more
better
serious
movie.
tone.
Yeah, one might be the better. I think one's. I was talking to you about this, Craig. I think one is a better film. It's just more. It's like well crafted. It's a serious movie, but 2 is maybe like funner to watch.
I think it's a really enjoyable experience. I love the third act. I loved the factory, the toy factory. I love that there was only one employee that worked there, and it feels like a cartoon, like Warner Brothers, like Acme style, like Animaniacs, like with all the colors and shapes, but like that with like the terrifying doll shapes that are moving in and out. Like that stuff was very scary, and I liked.
You've got the conveyor belt, like the assembly line with all the dolls, and then it's structured. It is like Animaniacs, so it's like these big, like colorful platforms, and like the blue stairs and the red conveyor belt and like the yellow machinery.
And seeing all the boxes, like all the good guys' boxes stacked up, I was like, that's just so cool when they're like running through and being chased by Chucky.
Yeah, I like Child's Play too. I like the foster. So. Who are bigger dicks, the foster parents from Terminator 2 or from Child's Play 2?
Or
Dude,
Terminator 2.
Would you?
Terminator 2.
I just said that.
Oh, you did?
I said Terminator 2, Child's Play 2.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear.
Or Terminator 2.
Got it.
Or Terminator 2.
Or Terminator 2. Or
they should all get
Child's
together.
Child's Play 2.
Okay.
Or
All
Terminator.
four.
Do you think that these movies are a shared universe by how bad the step parents are? Like maybe those step parents like are best friends.
No, but I
Those
wish
two
that John
sisters?
Connor from Terminator 2 was in Child's Play 3 and had been friends
Oh,
with
like
Andy.
he's
and been a little
also
dick.
been sent away
Dude,
to the military.
He should be.
Holy
Him
shit!
and De
that
Silva
been
would have
amazing.
totally hung out.
Enemy of the podcast, Edward Furlong, once again
Screwing up and not showing up on time.
not showing up
Not
for
showing up
Child's
in the
Play
right
2.
movie.
So this is kind of a tangent, and we can. We're gonna break down. Okay, we're gonna break down all the Child's Play movies. We're gonna break down all of our favorite. How does Chucky compare to other slasher icons? But the real thing we have to break down on the asshole scale: step parents, foster parents, parents' friends that you just stay with because your parents died. Like, who's the biggest assholes? Is it foster parents?
Probably.
I'm thinking Free Willy has foster parents. They're dicks.
Are they?
I think.
Well,
lot
that
of foster
kid's trying to.
parents.
You can't just bring a whale
Angels
home.
in the outfield.
You can't just bring that whale home.
She's
It's not
nice.
She's nice.
I feel like
It's the other kids at the home that are terrible in that movie.
foster parents in general are probably just fucking fed up.
But these,
We could
the foster parents.
we could probably put our heads together and think of enough bad foster parents to do a whole episode with. I think.
Yeah, but it's like I don't understand why the couple that becomes foster parents at Child's Play 2, like why are they doing it? Because they have like all those antiques and collectibles and like they're literally the worst at it.
yeah,
They
they're-
are, but it's weird because don't they like they want to be foster parents? Like
Yeah.
they're fostering
Yes.
other kids. Like why are they all of a sudden like fuck?
And
this
yet they
stupid
won't
kid,
let them
dude.
listen to music in their own bedroom. Like that's too much.
Right.
But I enjoyed it.
Here's the other thing. Why do the children in this universe find the Chucky doll so appealing?
Yeah, that's
Chucky
what I
did
kept
it.
saying.
I don't know.
Who took a shit
I
on the
don't know,
floor? Chucky did it.
Chucky did it.
Chucky did it. He did, I swear. He's terrifying. The good guy doll is so... It's hideous. I would not...
It is. You know what? That's one thing I liked about. Let's see. What? Not Cult. Curse of Chucky. Whenever they bring the like good guy doll in, it actually is cute in that movie. They
It's
changed
cute.
it like
Yeah.
in a very small way. Like they didn't like completely redesign him, but
But his hair is
he's
like
changed,
all
He's
even.
changed enough that he actually is cute.
He's kind of
Yeah.
cute.
in Cult
Like,
of Chucky.
pleasant looking,
Or
yeah.
Curse.
And he arrives in that same yellow box wrapped in brown paper.
Surprise! Here he is.
Yeah, it's because it's Tiffany. She's always doing the wrapping. She's just like, you know what?
Right.
She loves Martha Stewart.
Yeah,
She's a
she
real
does.
homemaker.
I bet she worked at Macy's doing gift wrap around the holidays. That's how she learned how to wrap Chucky up so well.
She kind of looks like Jennifer Tilly, though. I wonder
Oh,
if like
stop
maybe
it.
that's
We're
what-
gonna get there. Don't you worry. So yeah, Child's Play 2 is a lot of fun. The third act is really good. Kyle's an awesome character. Like she kind of starts off in like this Christina Applegate, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead vibe. Like she's like
Juliette
fuck-
Lewis.
Yeah, oh
Yes.
wait a minute. It just dawned on me. They completely based her on Juliette Lewis from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah,
it's the same
National
character.
Lampoons, definitely.
Cool. Note to
Brooding,
self.
sarcastic,
Note
yeah.
to self: if we ever see Kyle at a convention, go up to him and be like, "You're a fucking poser, Kyle."
But I love the way you dress.
But yes, but you're backwards leather Kangol hat is just on
just
fire.
too much.
Child's Play 2 is great. Some good kills in that movie. My favorite scene, I was talking to Jake about it yesterday, when the foster... Oh, by the way, we're spoiling all of these, so...
Yeah.
Just let it know. Let it be known.
They've been out.
When the foster dad's walking down the stairs, and you're like, oh, he's going to fall and break his neck, isn't he? And he falls and breaks his neck.
Yeah.
It's so good. So satisfying. Because he's such an asshole.
He is.
That happens a lot. Like, obviously, Chucky's the bad guy. But a lot of the times, like, he's pointing out the other assholes around him. You know? Like, there's a line in the new movie, he says something, he's like, I don't know whether to be proud of you or fucking kill you or something.
Take notes. He's like, I feel like I should be taking notes.
Right.
Oh, from the psychiatrist.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's always that like little bit of social commentary in like these horror movies and even in horror commentary or horror comedies where it's like you have people that you have to dislike in order to enjoy the kill. So you go with tropes that are like easily dislikable, like a military camp for the third movie or really shitty foster parents. And like it's fun to watch those kills and like you want to dislike them. So I think it's good writing. I think it was a solid movie, both the second and the third for those reasons.
So let's talk about it real quick. I mean, well, are we stressing? We do some stress? I mean,
Let's do some stress.
Yeah, I'm stressed.
I want to do, I mean, hold on.
I'm stressed because I don't know which I liked more, the second or the third movie. I think that the final acts of both of those movies were very memorable and had really great imagery and like had a lot of action and like very good gore and satisfying kills and good lines. And I really liked both of those movies, especially the third one because I'm a huge sucker for like dark carnivals and I fucking love that whole like Halloween, October, like scary park rides. And I really liked watching the end of that movie, which we just finished before we started recording this. And I loved watching it. So I'm just stressed because I thought I liked the second one best, and now I think I might like the third one more.
So, traditionally, horror fans would tell you Child's Play 3 is not very good compared to the first two. At least
It made me wish that there was like a Chucky ride, like at Universal Studios, like a dark ride.
Yeah.
Like that had Chucky trying to like kill you while you're in it. Like you think it's just like a normal one, and then like he shows up like he does in that movie.
like each cart has a little animatronic Chucky.
That you have to fight
That
off.
would be amazing.
And then
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, there can't be 10 Chuckies. And then you watch the new one and you're like,
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, that's what
We're
I
getting
thought.
there.
Well,
dude, it's gonna happen.
if we're teasing
gonna
that,
happen.
well, I watched the end of the second one when they're going into the toy factory. I was like, oh, dude, we're about to see a fuck ton of Chuckies, or Chucky's going to be lost in a sea of a bunch of these. I'm excited to see a bunch of Chuckies on screen. And then when we watched Cult of Chucky and I saw a bunch of Chuckies on screen, I was like, do I want to see this? or
hey,
not?
Chucky with like a late 90s hack job haircut is hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
We'll get there.
We're getting
We're
there.
kidding.
We're getting
No,
there.
before we move on, I do want to talk about Child's Play 3 kind of in depth because we did just watch it and I realized like 20 minutes in that I had never seen it.
Oh.
Because I was,
Is this your stress?
well, here's the thing. At 7 years old, I was going to see a lot of movies. 1991, Terminator 2 came out that year. I think White Men Can't Jump. I saw a lot of movies, and the Child's Play 3 trailer played all the time at these movies I would go to, and I was deathly afraid of it. And I remember, I told you guys this week, like, I was afraid of the movie, and I would leave the theater fearful of the trailer, but I was also really resentful that it wasn't Stripes, because to me, that was the only military movie.
And it was
Right.
also probably unfair because it's like you thought you were anticipating Stripes, and then when you found out it was Child's Play 3, you were terrified and had to leave.
I haven't seen the trailer for Child's Play 3 in a long time, but I feel like the beginning they set up like in the military, like it's something like that, and I'm like, oh, this is probably for Stripes. I'm probably watching a trailer for an 11-year-old movie right now in 1991. That's got to be it.
Right.
But let's talk about Child's Play 3. I want to know what you guys think. I was under the impression that it was kind of frowned upon, like it wasn't a great movie, but what surprised me is like it's kind of good. Like it's kind of, the acting's not bad. Like usually as the sequel, like the acting's really pretty good for a horror movie in the first movie, and you can kind of say the same thing for the second one. But usually as these movies go on, listen, Scream 3 is not going to be the first Scream, or I almost just said Nightmare 3 is not as good as the first one, but it might be better, so that definitely doesn't work.
Right.
But the acting's good, the story's good. The kid who plays Andy is like a pretty decent like child actor.
Yeah, he's like likable. Exactly.
But Tyler's an idiot.
I hated Tyler.
Dude,
That
Tyler
kid
R
is
is
a
the
fucking,
dumbest.
That kid, that is the only, like, that actor is awful on top of it being like the stupidest kid. Like, they wrote that character just to be the dumbest kid.
Well, so he's a thief. First of all,
Yeah.
he steals Andy's mail.
Dude, yeah.
And
Watch your language, Charles.
Dude, what child watches a doll come to life and like animate and also be kind of a dick to him and like force him around and be like, oh, no, I want to hang out with him. No, we're hanging out. We're hanging out in a closet with the door closed, like at night. Like everything's fine. I'm enjoying it.
They tried to kind of make it like you felt sympathy for him because like he goes and he's like,
dude, I understand why his dad doesn't want to hang out with him. Sorry. That's all I'm saying.
He's like waiting on a letter from his dad and he doesn't get it. And like, also,
he's the only kid of his age bracket that's like that goes to the military school, which is great.
yeah, like everyone there is at least 13 or 14 years old. And then there's like this 7-year-old kid. Can we talk about the line in the movie that really made me raise an eyebrow? So basically, we all know the story of Charles Lee Ray when he's in Chucky's body. Whoever he explains his predicament to first is who. That's the body he wants
tells
to
his
take
secret,
over.
yeah.
It's a Vigo Oscar situation, right? So in the first two movies, obviously Andy was the one he explained it to, so he's trying to take over Andy's body. He explains it to Tyler or whoever. He doesn't have to do that now.
Oh, I know what you're getting
He's
at
got a
right
new
now.
kid, so he's going to try to inhabit Tyler's body. And he looks at Andy and he goes, "Can you believe it? I'm going to be a bro?"
Yeah.
And it's like, huh.
All right, Chucky.
All right, Chucky.
Okay.
I mean, listen, he's not a great guy. He says
No,
unsavory things.
no, he's never.
Well, so we're all in agreement.
He
Tyler
doesn't try.
sucks.
Yeah,
Tyler sucks. All right.
weakest link. Yeah, definitely.
What about Andy in this movie? Obviously, it's a different kid. He's a little older, a little wiser.
Yeah, he's troubled.
Yeah. What do we
He's
think
going
of him?
through it.
I kind of think he was the best Andy.
He's got great hair.
Really? I thought he was annoying. He annoys me.
You
Really?
didn't like him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that actor. I don't know. He just, I don't know. Like, I mean, it annoyed me, but I mean, I guess like he is this kid who's like been fighting a living doll his whole life, and nobody believes him despite like multiple people getting murdered.
Oh, yeah. Like in
Yeah.
Child's Play
So-
2 when the teacher gets murdered and they just never bring it up again.
They just never like
Yeah, like
you
the
know
barber.
what? At this point, like why at this point wouldn't this kid be like, I don't know, in a psychiatric hospital for his entire life? Like if no one has ever been like, oh yeah, like it really happened, there really is a doll that's just killed 10 people.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never get that. It's always just him like, Chucky did it.
Dude.
Send him to military school. Like that's his punishment. Military school?
I like when he first gets there,
Welcome
like,
to military school, son.
he's like, "I've got sympathy for your little doll troubles,
Yeah.
but it's time to grow up, you troublemaker."
I love when that guy has a heart attack and Chucky's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally scares that guy to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
Chucky was outsmarted finally by the one thing he never anticipated.
Cardiac arrest.
Heart disease. The number one killer. The thing that kills more men than Chucky. Hamburgers and cholesterol. Yeah. Fuck that guy. He was an asshole. And whoever that kid is who looks just barely older than Andy, who's like the corporal, like the colonel.
Oh,
Yeah.
the asshole
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, we'll get to him because he gets...
The
can't
one in the
remember his
Bowers
name.
gang?
Yeah.
He should have been.
Dude, yeah.
We were getting that
He's got
vibe.
that, like, he wants to hit you and kiss you at the same time kind of
the
vibe.
the old chuck and fuck.
Yes.
what I
It's
call
fun. It's very repressed.
So yeah, so Child's Play 3, it's at the military academy. It's kind of, Chucky
G.I.
shows
Jane.
up.
Terminator 2. It's got a lot.
It's not G.I. Jane. I've never seen G.I. Jane.
I haven't seen G.I. Jane either.
But we know the military's
But it's
involved.
got the military in
Just
it.
like Josh Hartnett in Black Hawk Down. So yeah, it kind of starts unfolding, and it's the same deal. Nobody believes that that Chucky's real, except for Tyler, but he doesn't believe that Chucky's bad, even though, as Abby pointed out earlier, it's very clear.
It's very clear.
He's just the loneliest kid in the world.
Chucky is like verbally abusing this child at one
It's
point.
fine.
He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Tyler." And Tyler's like, "Chucky."
Chucky,
Yeah.
come on. If you want to play
Come
hide the
on.
soul, you're going to have to not say those kinds of things to me. So the third act of this movie kind of comes out of nowhere, but basically the entire third act they're doing kind of like a military style war games, like a capture the flag, red team versus blue team. And this is one of those interesting things. This felt very like, I don't know, it kind of stressed me out in a really good way when Chucky's replacing the bullets.
That
and the
was my
guns.
favorite like bit of writing and like plot in that whole movie. I really thought it was
That's
cool.
kind of scary.
Yeah.
I was
It
like,
is scary. Just
Yeah.
like watching him smiling and he's
Yeah.
just putting real bullets on all these
Yeah,
like,
'cause-
guns.
Yeah.
But like what I'm like, were they supposed to be like paintballs or
Yeah.
like, what was it?
Yeah.
So the same gun that a paintball works in, a real
Yes.
bullet works
Yep,
in?
just like
Definitely.
the real world.
Okay,
So-
cool. Just making sure.
Yeah,
That seems safe.
right. They would definitely do that in real life.
Right.
Right.
We've all played paintball, and
Yeah.
sometimes you bring a
It's
never.
interchangeable. Definitely.
So I've actually never played paintball. Have you?
Yeah, I did. It's very painful, but it's fun.
Okay, Jake, you ever paintballed before?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever been to military academy?
Twice.
Okay, have you ever had a doll that tried to hide your soul?
I believed that I did because of my mother, but I grew out of that. so.
Okay, good. Little pop quiz. Abby, any soul hiding at your house?
No.
Okay. Any?
I gave my soul to Jesus
Okay.
when I was 4.
How'd that work out for you?
Oh, not so good.
Okay, moving along. So yeah, kind of moves into the third act. Same old stuff. Oh, the barber scene. Let's talk about that. So
The barber's the scariest character in this movie.
the barber's pretty scary. He's walking around the cafeteria telling everybody when they're going to get their haircut. And they kill, the kid who is just like the kid from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, the whole movie has a Wonder Years like
I
love
can't remember
triangle
his
with
name, but you're talking about the kid who like sacrifices himself by jumping on a grenade later.
Paul Pfeiffer.
Yeah, we'll just call him Paul Pfeiffer. No, let's call him Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
the kid who, he's got the glasses and he's the one who witnesses Chucky killing the barber. But instead
He
of
like walks in on
Yeah,
it,
he walks in, which is kind of a cool scene. And then instead of saying anything to anybody, he's
Like
like,
a normal human.
all right, I'm just going to go back to the
Yeah,
military.
we'll just pretend it
academy."
doesn't. We'll just pretend it
And then
didn't happen.
sacrifice myself for all these assholes that I hate.
Yeah. That was also kind of I did not
But that was a
expect
cool moment when he did
child
that.
to be jumping on a grenade in this movie.
Right.
Good for you, Paul Pfeiffer, Marilyn Manson. So, the third act does end up at this like carnival, and it's that same damn scenario that always unfolds in these movies. Who is it? Tyler finds the lost and found security tent, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Chucky's after me," and the guy's like, "I don't know who Chucky is, but I found this doll."
Yeah, I found this terrifying thing. Puppet for
was
you.
he wrapped in the box with the paper? What if he was? I wrapped him for you.
I wrapped him.
Yeah, he was in his cocoon state.
Yeah. So and then the movie plays on and but what I liked about it was like the movie's very entertaining. It doesn't fall into the trap of like, oh, they're just rehashing the same stuff from the first two movies to make.
No, they're all
like,
very different.
It's very different and it's kind of like a good little trilogy, right?
Yeah, I agree.
And then
And something happens.
then
Yeah,
something
what
happens.
happens? Tiffany.
Tiffany,
Valentine.
I mean, I don't know. How much do you guys, let's talk about it. Abby, you watched Bride of Chucky today. I haven't seen it. I will say this. When Bride of Chucky came out, I was like, oh yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time. That's amazing. Like, I remember.
It did well at the box office,
Wait, are
right?
you saying that you haven't seen it?
No, I've seen it.
Okay,
It's
you
just
just
been a
started.
while.
Just been a while, guys.
But
It's been like 4 hours since I watched it, so.
So think about Bride of Chucky this way. It came out at a time in 1998 where the most popular things in the world were Stone Cold Steve Austin and South Park.
And Jerry Springer.
And Jerry Springer.
And makeovers.
So Bride of Chucky was like
And dating shows.
there was an episode of WWF Monday Night Raw, and the special guests were Chucky and Tiffany.
Oh my god, I was going to talk about this, dude. I
Were
was going
you?
to bring this up.
Bring it up.
Yeah,
because
I was gonna say the
remember-
whole movie felt like the Attitude Era. Like I felt like there
That's
was
exactly what it was. I remember watching
China was gonna walk out.
Monday Night Nitro, WCW, back in the heyday.
That's what it was.
And
It was
I
Nitro.
remember it was WCW Nitro, and I remember. So the lights go off like after in between matches or something.
Okay.
And all you hear is Chucky's laugh.
Ooh.
Dude,
And
Craig would have run
I
out.
remember immediately being like, "That's Chucky." I knew right away. I was like, "That's Chucky's laugh."
You
But
you go in
He
and you're like,
laughed for, like-
Mom, how did you call WCW and organize this?
Jake looks in the hallway.
Is my mom friends
like-
with Eric Bischoff? Okay,
yeah,
keep going.
He's doing it, and then it's like he laughs, and then they're like, "Jake, go to bed." So he laughs for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then it stops, and all the commentators are like, "What was that?" And then they finish Nitro, and they never mention it again. The next week, the same thing happens. You hear his laugh, and that was it. And I don't remember how many weeks it went on for.
God,
but,
knowing
like,
WCW
finally-
probably way too
What?
long.
It was way too long. It was God. I bet it was a month. And you know what?
Knowing
I think it
WCW,
probably
I'm surprised
led
it
up
happened
to
right
I think it actually led up to a pay-per-view.
Right, okay.
And at the pay-per-view, they just like had the laugh, and then Chucky showed up like on the screen, like
Yep.
on the big jumbotron or whatever, and he's just like, "Watch my new movie." And that was it. It was just like him talking for a minute, and it was just like, "Go watch Bride of Chucky."
He's like, you
And I
guys,
was like, "What the fuck?"
you're fans of Sting, the Scorpion Deathlock. Well, I
wanna
want
see
to
him cut a
introduce you
promo.
to Chucky. And the Scorpion... Guys, I got nothing right now. I got
Yeah.
nothing.
You
I thought I
spent
was
it.
going to make a fun Sting joke.
I thought Chucky was gonna be here for this whole episode.
He is here. He's right here.
He's Rocket Raccoon.
Has anybody noticed that my
Essentially,
Chucky voice sounds like
it's
Rocket
not
Raccoon?
far off from
God
Rocket
damn
Raccoon.
it. God damn it. I'm gonna fucking... fuck it. All right, Abigail. Now that I've derailed. Jake, I love that story. So, sidebar, wrestling, especially in the 90s, was notorious for just doing the weirdest crossover promotions. In WCW, there's everybody's seen it on YouTube when RoboCop shows up to save Sting. Like legit. Like Sting's trapped in the cage. Oh my God, it's RoboCop! He's here! By God, it's RoboCop!
That's amazing.
Oh boy.
That's
Peter Sellers! No, it's RoboCop! Is that his name, Peter Sellers?
I think so, yeah. Peter Weller.
Peter
Right?
Weller.
Peter Sellers.
Peter
is
Sellers,
like,
the
Pink Panther.
Pink Panther.
It's a little different.
I
Like,
am-
did he show up? Did he cross over?
The Pink Panther's here!
Bye, he's broken in half.
He's investigating why RoboCop's here. All right, cool. Abby, Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
You watched it today. It's a
Yes.
departure for the franchise.
Yeah.
It's a straightforward horror
It
comedy.
lampoons itself. It's super self-aware.
Self-aware.
It feels like a Marilyn Manson video for like the first 20 minutes. It's
okay.
fun.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got like it was 1998, and like it feels like you said, Jerry Springer, like
It was after Scream came out, and everybody was trying to do the tongue-in-cheek like.
yeah, it's exactly like it. I guess that horror movies needed like a revamping and like a makeover, and there was a makeover montage sequence at one point in this movie with Tiffany, like when she becomes the doll. I mean, honestly, like I wanted to like this movie, and I did like some parts of it, and like I love the 1998 vibe stuff that I was just talking about and referencing. I didn't dislike that, but when it came to like plot stuff, like I guess you can't hold Chucky movies to like rigid like expectations, but like
Yes, you can.
dude, like when Chucky's in the crib, like when Tiffany as a human like traps him as a doll inside of her trailer inside of the crib, he stays in there but busts out easily like after she puts the bride doll in there, and it's like he could have busted out at any point and possessed the body of the cute guy right across the way, and it just didn't make any sense to me that like he just sat in there. Like, so there's some plot errors and stuff like that, but then the movie just becomes like a completely ridiculous like parody of itself and like spirals out anyway. But it's so much of like that, like I said, that Attitude Era, that it's like it's really mean spirited, and like I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and especially when like the two of them, like Tiffany and Chucky, were on screen just talking back and forth. It's like such eye roll territory, and it's like so like referential to TV shows and like Martha Stewart like callbacks and like shit that's like, I don't know, it just doesn't hold up, I think, as well, and maybe it will in time. And like I said, I'm a fan of that era, but yeah,
in 10 years we're going to be talking about Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz, and Bride of Chucky.
For sure. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell.
Jake, what do you think of Bride of Chucky?
Well, I don't think out of 7 Child's Play movies, I don't think it's the worst.
Okay.
But that's not saying too much for it.
Okay.
It's weird because Bride of Chucky definitely got like the biggest probably budget out of any of the Child's Play movies. Probably the biggest budget they'll ever get. Chucky looked the best. The all the like puppetry, like all of that stuff was the best the series has ever gotten. Even though like, he's got that weird stitched together face in Bride of Chucky, and that's fine for Bride of Chucky. It's cool it makes sense. There's a reason for it. He kind of looks cool in it, but I hate that stitched up face from there on.
Right.
From there on, I've always been like, please fix his face, because I just hate it. I think the regular face looks better.
Right.
But like that said, like the Chucky doll, the puppetry, like the effects they're the best in that movie. But it's also like, I mean, I think Child's Play 2 and 3 had a little, they're silly. They had a lot of that funny stuff in it too. But Bride of Chucky is where it went super overboard. And like you said, Abby, it's just like them talking to each other, referencing the fact that they're dolls and talking about how they don't have, penises, but then they like fuck and
I had to watch him have sex. That was uncomfortable.
And I think
much
it's
sex.
stupid. And I think one of the big problems
and then give birth.
I mean that's leading to the worst Child's Play movie that probably we'll ever have. But I think the biggest problem with Bride of Chucky is like at this point, so we've had 3 movies where the movies are about Andy. And now all of a sudden Andy's gone. So it's like, who's this movie really about? Because like, is it about Tiffany? Is she the main character? Is Jesse and Jane or whatever? Are they the main characters?
Oh, dude, that fucking like WB subplot.
It's just a weird. It's weird watching, when you have 3 Child's Play movies that have been around forever, and you're like, oh, these movies are about Andy trying to, not be murdered by a doll. And then when you take Andy out of the equation, it's weird. It's weird, and they kind of don't have anywhere to go. And I think that's
how I felt.
No, go ahead.
No, like 3/4 of the way through the movie, I was like, where the fuck are they going on this road trip? Like the amulet that they're after, or like I think they end up in New Jersey to like the cemetery,
wherever.
But like, you don't care, and like the 2 couples like riding together, I'm just like, I hate all of them.
I think Don Mancini, the writer, I think he kind of realized that these movies can't be about Chucky, because the two Bride and Seed are just weird. They just feel weird when you try to make these movies about Chucky, and I think that's why he wrote in the Nika character, and she's in Cult or Curse of Chucky is just so much better. Right. And it's like,
she's
it's because we're not
air.
We're not focused on Chucky anymore. We're focused on Nika and like how her story kind of intertwines with Chucky. And they carried her into the next film, which was
Jake,
a
listen,
thing.
hold on.
The thing that's
am I getting too serious?
No,
about Child's Play movies?
Well, you said they carried her into the next film, and it's like, I get that she can't walk, but like, sorry.
Oh,
no, I think that was good.
Thank you.
I was just going to go on a tirade about how what's psychologically terrifying about Chucky is that as a doll, like when you see him interact, like you need to spend time in the like regular character's life, and like in order for it to be like jarring to see the doll come to life, you need to be a little bit distracted and enjoy watching the subplot or like the B plot basically going on. And so when you don't have that in Bride of Chucky, when you're just watching the dolls going back and forth, you kind of lose it. It's not scary. And
sucks.
Yeah.
It's definitely not scary.
And it's also not very funny.
Yeah.
Except for like,
it's like, is it funny? No. Is it scary? No. What is it? It just exists. But like, it is one of those things. Like when you watch it, it's kind of like a time capsule, right? It represents. People liked it at the time. I think horror fans dismiss that and Seed of Chucky on principle these days. What I think is funny is the first 3 are called Child's Play, and then the next ones all have the name Chucky in the title. Yeah. It's very much like Family Matters. Like when you say Family Matters, sometimes people don't know what you're talking about. But when you say Urkel, they're like, oh yeah, Urkel. Like I remember one time when I was a kid, we were at my grandmother's house, and we were trying to go to sleep, and my dad's like, what do you guys want on the TV? I was like, Urkel's on. And he looked forever on like the... You remember the old channel?
Looking for
Yeah.
You know the channel that would like scroll everything was on? But it would take so fucking long because it would do 3 and then stop for like 10 seconds, and then it would go again. And he sat there for like 20 minutes. He's like, Craig, I can't find Urkel.
Yeah.
I was just a big dumb idiot. I didn't know it was called Family Matters.
That's
great. So anyways. Also, Family Matters is now on Hulu. I couldn't find it, though, because I searched for Urkel. So, anyways. Yeah, time capsule. All right, Seed of Chucky. Just going to put it out there. I've never seen it. I've only heard terrible things. Abby, have you seen Seed of Chucky?
No, but I read the Wikipedia summary today, and I was like grossed out and not into it. So
I don't want to spend much time on it. Jake, give us a 30-second rundown of Seed of Chucky.
Oh my God, 30 seconds.
Here.
So Seed of Chucky is the absolute worst Child's Play movie. It's completely as silly as like Bride of Chucky is. Seed of Chucky is 10 times that. Like it starts off with their child who has like an English accent and is like learning karate in a cage, and he doesn't know whether or not he wants to be like a boy or a girl. And Tiffany's like, you
How
can
progressive.
choose.
wow.
Oh yeah, and Tiffany's like, you can choose. You can be whatever you want, Glenn or Glenda, because he has like split personalities. Sometimes he's Glenda, sometimes he's Glenn. And Chucky's like, fuck that, he's a boy. And like that's the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Is like, and then it also like Jennifer Tilly is in it as Jennifer Tilly.
That's
And
what I
like
read.
Redman is in it as Redman, and the whole plot of the movie is like Chucky and Tiffany trying to get their souls into Redman and Jennifer Tilly, and like
It's like they did a new
so
Nightmare
fucking
thing.
stupid. And like Tiffany, she succeeds. Like she gets into Jennifer Tilly, and that's why in Cult of Chucky, someone was like, "Hey, you look like Jennifer Tilly." It's because that's supposed to be. Tiffany is in the body of Jennifer Tilly now, whatever. It's stupid. But like they end up at the end of that movie, they put Glenn and Glenda in like a pair of twins. So they're in human bodies now. And that movie ends with like Tiffany and Glenn killing Chucky.
Okay.
And I remember that being the only thing I liked about the movie, because I was like, you know what? They killed Chucky. That means if they make a new Child's Play film, we can do it with just Chucky, and we don't have to have Tiffany and 2 kids in it anymore, like 2 doll kids.
Right.
That was the only thing I thought was good about the movie. You know, is that they weren't together at the end of it.
Reading through the Wikipedia, I do want to note a couple interesting things. The Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, Jennifer Tilly came in 3rd place.
Hey,
good
way
for
to go,
best-
girl.
For Best
That's an
Actress.
accomplishment. I hope she
that's
puts
good.
that on her resume.
3rd place.
Also, what kind of award show does anything but the winner? Like,
Yeah.
why are they placing them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they like stand up on like different
What?
staggered, whatever those
Like the
are called?
Olympics?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
But
the
I want to
platforms?
know what won first that year. Like who won?
All right,
First.
I'm going right now. We're going down the rabbit hole.
Here we go.
Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Well, the Wikipedia only goes back to 2014, so we'll never know.
Never even know.
Congrats on third one.
Congrats, Jennifer Tilly. You did it.
You did it. You did it.
Cool. So, guys, we're getting there. Because, let's face it, we all want to hear about Cult of Chucky, right? We all watched it.
I
so
want to
we
hear
want-
Jake talk about Cult of Chucky.
Real quick, let's break down Curse of Chucky. We've all seen it. One of my favorites of the series. Kind of a rebirth of some kind. I mean, it's very much... it's not even like the old ones, but it's definitely not
It's like a slick reinvention. I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
But it's not a reboot. It's not a remake. It's in the same continuity.
It is. They talked about rebooting it for a while, and they were even like, Don Mancini was going to reboot. He was still going to be the writer, but he was, at this point, Child's Play is the only like It's the only franchise of like those big horror classics that is still going. That hasn't been rebooted. It's the only one. And at that point, there were all those other reboots were happening, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and everything. They're all failing. And he was going to reboot it. And I had read that he still was going to have Brad Dourif do the voice, but it was going to be a reboot of the series. But then, he was like, fuck that. Like, he held to his own and was like, no, you know what? We're just going to keep going. And I think Curse of Chucky is the best besides the first film. It's serious again. It's like scary again. It's not an hour and a half of just Chucky doing like quips and like it's like you're halfway into the movie before you see Chucky even like speak. And even though everyone knows at this point Chucky speaks, they still did that. And they, just like I was saying, he wrote it more like the originals with having a different main character, someone who we care about. And they even they don't ignore any of the other films, but they tie it back to, stuff that happened in the original. They add to his backstory and his mythology a little bit, but in a good way. And I think that film, I was so happy to see that movie. It's so good. And they brought Chucky back to what I had hoped they would bring Chucky back to.
Yeah. I remember we watched that movie together.
Cult of Chucky ruined that.
Oh, dude.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hey.
Oh.
You want a serious Charles Lee Ray, so I get it.
I don't. I want to have fun with Charles Lee Ray.
A triumph the
triumph the
insult
Yeah,
talk.
that's what I want.
That's kind of what they turned him into. So.
Yeah, Curse of Chucky's really good. It's really slick. For a straight to it was not theatrically released. It was the first one.
Straight to Netflix. Yeah, straight
to streaming, DVD, all that.
He
stuff.
He looks a little weird, and maybe all the effects aren't amazing because their budget isn't great. But I feel like the plot and the acting and the writing make up for having the effects not look as good as some of the other ones.
Yeah,
Nika's a really likable character in that movie.
Yeah,
and
I mean.
The fact that she's vulnerable, kind of like Andy is in the first movie, does kind of play off.
Also, hold
well.
on. What year did the first Child's Play come out? Did you say 80?
88.
88. Okay, so this movie came out last year, 2016,
2013.
or was it 20? Oh, was it 2013?
Yes. Yes, it was almost 5 years ago.
Okay,
we can pretend. Wow. We can pretend it was last year.
I didn't think it was that long ago.
Yeah,
okay, but anyway, still. So in this movie, they bring Brad Dourif back as human Charles Lee Ray. He looks exactly like he did in the first Child's Play movie.
Yep.
And that stuff is so cool. Even they give him a little bit of backstory, and we get to see him as a human, and that's something you literally have not seen since the first film. And also, we get that pretty cool after credit scene bringing Andy back in it with the original actor. What else could you this was, to me, it almost seemed like it could have just been the first Child's Play than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those two kind of stand together.
They do bring Jennifer Tilly back, but it's kind of in a I don't know, a saturated way. It's okay, this connects to Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, but it's not slapping you over the face with it.
It's not. Yeah, it's just it's kind of and that was fine. I could have done without. If I was writing out, I would have left her out completely. But but they didn't.
Same.
They didn't oversaturate you with it. And what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Nika's a great character, and she's played by Fiona Dourif, who is Brad Dourif's daughter.
Yeah.
His IRL daughter. And she's great, and
she's got an Emma Stone vibe. I like her.
Yeah, all the Child's Play movies are kind of progressive, and they're pretty. Well, I shouldn't say all of them. Child's Play 2, 3, and then starting with Curse of Chucky, it's cool to have a strong female, protagonist.
No, that's the
she's in a
secret
wheelchair,
fun of these slasher movies that I've realized since we started watching them a year ago is seeing the female characters outwit and outsmart the villains and how they extract themselves from the situation. So yeah, that's why I liked Kyle, and that's why I like Nika, because watching some of those. Are we talking about Cult yet? Or are we
Let's
still...
just do it.
Yeah, those were probably some of the parts of Cult of Chucky that I preferred were where she's like taking it back, but there were some issues I had with that movie. So.
All right, before we get, since we're going to talk about Cult of Chucky, like we said, it was just released 2 days ago. You can get it on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend stopping the podcast now, going and watching it, and then coming back. Because we don't want to spoil it for you. Do you agree with that, Jake?
Sure.
Okay. Listen, also, if you're driving, stop, pull over, watch on the side of the road on your phone.
Make sure that Chucky's not in the back seat.
Make sure Chucky's on the back seat.
He likes to do that.
Let's go ahead, since we
Toss up.
haven't done it yet. We'll all just agree that Seed of Chucky's the worst, right? We could just put that in the bottom.
Sure.
Seed unseen.
Let's rank them. Let's just do our ranking now, and then we can move forward talking about Cult of Chucky. And I was going to hopefully have our friend Chucky chime in and ask him some questions, but that's not going to happen. He ain't coming back tonight.
No,
so,
he's gone.
He's asleep.
He's
He's in, what'd you call it earlier?
a cocoon nap.
He's in his cocoon
Little
nap.
box. Tiffany wrapped him up.
All right. So, Jake,
Yo.
what do you think is the best Child's Play movie?
Child's Play, the first
All right.
one.
And from there, the rankings go.
You want me to go ahead and do you want me to just go through all of them?
Go for it.
Okay. I think so. Child's Play is number 1. I think Curse of Chucky is number 2, strong number 2. And then I think the third in the ranking would be Child's Play 2, and then I think it would be Child's Play 3. And then I think Bride,
Wow.
Cult.
Oh, wow.
And you know what?
Harsh.
Bride and Cult, I'm not sure. Like, they both.
Well, you just
equally-
saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I just saw it yesterday. I maybe would put Cult and then Bride and then Seed.
Okay.
Okay.
Ab, real quick. You have a thought on this?
I'm thinking 2, 3, 1.
Ooh, Jesus.
I know. I just
You
like
always
2
go against the grain.
I just like 2 to 3 better. Yeah. It's just how I felt. It's what I reacted
It's fine.
to more.
It's
And
fine.
Hey,
what
take
was
that,
more
Grain.
memorable in my mind and
No,
which
you're
characters
good.
I liked. Yeah, no, it's all good. And then 1, okay, then I would go Curse. And then I would go Cult. And then Bride. And then Seed, because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
You know what's funny? You're going to probably watch Seed of Chucky this week. Like, no, that's my number 1.
Oh, loved
You'll
it.
love it.
I love
Doing a costume.
So
All right,
fun.
and I'll do
so
mine real
good.
quick since I don't know if our listeners care about our numbers. Like,
It's
like somebody just tunes in halfway
I'll
through.
listen to Yes Have Some for the numbers.
Oh, take the
I
numbers.
love when they do math.
The first
Too many
one's my
A's.
favorite. I'll probably go 1, 2, Curse, 3, something like that. But
Cool.
it's something like that.
Okay.
Similar to what you guys were saying, but this is what I want to say. I liked Cult of Chucky more than both of you, I think.
Yeah.
And the reason I know that is because I've been thinking about it all day. And as anybody who listens to our podcast knows, if I watch a movie and I think about it the next day, that means I really liked it a lot. Or I liked it enough to think about it. Sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, oh, I like that, and I never think about it again. So, Cult of Chucky, it's kind of a direct continuation of Curse of Chucky. Obviously, Curse of Chucky ends with basically Nika being framed for all the murders in that house. Ooh, that's the one thing I do want to talk about real quick on Curse of Chucky. That house is very cool.
Yeah.
It's very gothic.
Southern Gothic, yeah, it's cool.
And it's kind of like there's some really creepy stuff in that movie. That movie's got some of the best deaths, so I definitely recommend going out and see Curse of Chucky. This picks up at like a psych ward. Nika
Yeah.
is
It's like
there.
4 years later.
An extremely well-dressed psych ward.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, you get outfitted by Gap before you become a patient there. 'Cause everyone looks so good. And the inside of it looks really good, too.
Oh yeah. Oh the
Also, they have a graveyard right outside. So, don't worry.
So, a couple years later, it's kind of implied that she was tried for the murder of all these people. Her niece was taken away from her. And she was able to avoid going to jail because she pled insanity. And now she's been doing well. She's working with this main psychiatrist who turns out to be a real piece of work. She's being moved to the medium security psychiatric center.
Facility, yeah.
And that's kind of where it starts.
And it starts to feel like Dream Warriors a little bit, because like you have a nice bond between the male nurse and like the female inpatient and all that.
Mancini said, like, there was an interview with him today. He said Dream Warriors was actually an inspiration. He also said that Inception was an inspiration. And I kind of get what he's saying, because one of the main plots of this movie is you're kind of in Nika's head at times, where she's trying to figure out, wait, am I actually crazy? Is Chucky real? Am I actually killing these people? Which...
Well, part of that is being brainwashed and like going through shock therapy and whatever else was happening to her. So you as a viewer are wondering what's going on.
Right.
And you understand why she could be confused.
There's parts of the movie that are really silly, and I guess we're about to break down what we liked and did not like about it. So let's just go for it. What I liked about this movie was that when it was being serious, I think they did a great job. Like when you were like in the meetings, the support meetings, and I thought the character development was pretty good at the beginning. You kind of get a good vibe for each of the patients. The one guy who thinks he's Michael Phelps, and he also thinks he's Mark Zuckerberg.
Multiple Mark, yeah.
And then he has sex with Nika in the wheelchair. That was kind of weird, right?
That was fast.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Jake,
weird.
you didn't like that? I could hear it in your voice.
There's not a whole lot that I did like.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that.
Well, Jake, what did you like? We gotta start positive, because we'll go negative real quick.
We will. We'll
You
hit that
know us.
negative quick. So what did I like? So this weird thing. So the movie starts. It starts with Andy.
Oh yeah.
Like this
I
movie
completely forgot about
opens with Andy like having a date, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
he's like, you Googled me, and he's like, my babysitter died, my teacher, 37 other people that I know of,
Yeah.
But
He's internet famous.
But the thing that I liked that I kind of wasn't expecting to even happen in this movie is like, so he goes home and he has Chucky's head like in. So first of all, he like takes down his like his sweater from part 3 from the military, and he has like Chucky's severed head like chained down to this board with like nails in it. Half of it's missing, and Chucky's like somehow still alive. Like they kind of, in the first film, they were like, if Chucky stays in the body too long, he becomes human. And if he becomes human, he could be killed. And that's how in the first movie they shoot him and he dies because he's become like a human. But now it's just like, oh, we can cut his head off and he can still somehow cough.
Right.
He
read Voodoo for Dummies, the website.
Right.
Oh.
But that whole thing of like adult Andy has to keep Chucky tied down, like it's the only way he can defeat Chucky is just by like keeping him hostage. Right. Like that's a weird way. That's a weird place to go in the Child's Play movie, but I like it. It's like
kind of tortures him.
Yeah,
it's
I literally
dark.
when
like,
I was
that's a dark thing. Like he has to. The only way to stay safe from Chucky is that he has to spend the rest of his life with Chucky.
Yeah, I was like, so he becomes the monster basically by inflicting torment and pain. Like,
and I also was like kind of expecting like. I was like, wait, I'll watch this movie where like Andy is like old and he's growing old and Chucky is still alive and they're like friends now. They're like they're all they know. They know each other and that's it. And every now and then he'll take Chucky's head out of the safe and he'll just be like he'll just talk to him, like tell him his problems and shit. Like I was like that would be such a weird, there's no action in a movie like that, but just that whole idea, I liked it.
I wish. What if Hugh Jackman played Andy though?
I like it, and then you find out that the doll hasn't been animated the entire time. That he's just losing his mind. It's a slow descent into madness.
Whoa!
It's just like a human's head.
Yeah, like the police at the end of the movie. Yes.
Or they're like he's talking to somebody about Chucky, and they're like Andy. Chucky was your son, and he looks over to the head, and it's just like his child's head nailed to the board.
The entire time.
Oh man, what would that movie
Who's
be
the
called?
monster now?
Curse of Andy. I don't know.
Oh, Curse of Andy.
No, I like that, but it immediately gets confusing because like from the beginning of the movie, we see that he has Chucky's head, but also Chucky is somehow still alive at the hospital.
Right.
I'm trying to think
Multiple
of like
Chucky.
trying to think of the other things I liked in this movie.
Well, while you think about it, real quick, I do want to say, like, it is confusing. Right there, they're trying to drop the hint that, like,
They're doing it.
Could there be multiple Chuckies? But the way they do it is kind of like, you don't really have that aha moment, like, oh, is there more than one Chucky? You're just kind of like, you just go, wait, what is it?
There's another.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
Because they
It's
just
like
they just
Terminator
do it.
Genesis. Like you're like, oh, there's just a bunch of them.
This movie
little
does have
confusing.
some
Well,
Terminator
it
Genesis.
shifts tones and storylines and like it's all over the place. Like it's not consistent for sure.
Right.
Which
So-
is a lot like Terminator Genesis. So
So Micah is in the
Nika,
what I called her?
Micah.
Micah.
Well, Mika is a
you're thinking
character
heroes.
in the Paranormal Activity movies, right? Mika,
Mika. I don't know. Her
I-
name Nika. Nika.
Neat.
Nika with an N.
She is in the facility. There's like the
So
old
lonely.
the facility.
Oh,
The old, dude, never mind. That'll go off into a different thing. When the truth is found. All right. Don't you want somebody to love? Oh, God.
All right, we're
Cable guy. I'm just shouting at this point.
That sorry, I'm sorry.
You can't not go there.
it's child's play.
It's child's play.
That's all it is.
They sounded Asian. All right. All right. So, there's like the older crazy lady who's like schizophrenic, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Chucky called me last night."
Chucky called. He wanted me to leave you a message.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of goes from there. You see the relationships developed. It's revealed that like the head psychiatrist. So I was suspecting that since the movie was called Cult of Chucky, and you find out that this guy who's been the psychiatrist of Nika is getting creepy and creepy, I thought it was going to be revealed that like he was like a Chucky worshiper or something.
Like there is
that.
a cult.
Yeah.
Like that's a cool idea. That I think they, they dropped the ball on that. You can't call the movie Cult of Chucky and then like not actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's weird because so as the movie goes on, you do see there are multiple Chuckies. And it's explained. There's like 3 or 4 lines in this movie where you go, why did they even say that? Like, why are they all in the middle of a fairly serious moment? Like, what's the line he says about Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, it's
Hannibal.
I don't know. Somebody mentions Silence of the Lambs or something.
Oh,
and
he's
then
like, you're like
he's
Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, yeah.
Hannibal Lecter, yeah. Can't believe they canceled that show. How does he know how does he even know that he's been like dead for? Is he watching? Is the other head like is Andy taking the other head out and he's like, hey man, Hannibal's on.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all
They have a
possess the
truce
same-
when
Yes.
he's like, dude, you know what? He's like, yeah, I've been thinking. I know
You've
we
been
hate each
good.
other, mortal enemies. You'd like this show. Let's watch.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's like,
No, it's right up your alley.
Hey, Andy, thanks for letting me watch Hannibal. Put on Parks and Rec. I fucking love Andy on that show, too.
It's like the humanizing of Chucky.
yeah. I mean, that's the movie. I want to see like Mystery Science Theater with Andy and Chucky just commenting on other movies. So
Yeah.
I thought the weirdest moment in Cult of Chucky was like, I don't even remember the sequence of events that led up to it, but all of a sudden Chucky's like really big. Do you
Oh, it
remember
was
that?
like a dream. She
Yeah.
was having
It's a dream
like a
sequence.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Chucky
kinda terrifying.
is not that. That is just. I didn't like it. I didn't like
Weird.
Big Chucky.
His head was too big.
His head. No, this doll in general, the head is bigger than the old doll. I think.
I
Yeah.
didn't love the effects on this specific Chucky.
You know what?
Wasn't my
Like
favorite.
one thing that was just like annoying about this movie is that we have 3 Chucky dolls, and they were like, okay, burn this one's hand, so you could tell this one apart. This one will be the regular one. What do we do to this other one? Cut his hair off.
Cut his hair.
Cut all
Cut
his
his
hair
hair.
off.
Cut his hair. Give him a bad haircut.
So you have like 3. Those are the only reasons those things like exists that way. Is so the audience can tell which Chucky doll is which Chucky doll.
Right.
Which it doesn't even matter because all three of them are alive. So why does it matter that we know which one is which?
So here's a couple thoughts. So the one with the cut hair, Andy purposefully sent to the facility because he was going there and he hid a gun inside of him.
Right.
That's kind of cool. Like I was like, okay, that's an interesting plot point. Like, but if you're gonna have multiple Chuckies, you should have kind of what Abby was saying earlier, like what you thought was gonna happen in Child's Play 2. You should have like 30 or 40 of them running around to make it really over the top. Like, it's just 3 Chuckies talking to each other.
Yeah, and you know what?
If you're
also,
gonna
like,
have an army,
Chucky says in the movie, he's like, "Hey, I found out I can possess literally anything with 2 hands and a 2 legs and a hand for stabbing." So why are you still only bringing Chucky dolls, a doll that hasn't been around since the 80s? Why aren't you possessing everybody and everything?
And why is everyone still opening these boxes of Chucky dolls like they're cute and like it's a great thing to have around? Like it's nothing. Yeah. Like aren't there photos of the Chucky factory, like the Good Guys factory, and like all the shit that happened from the second movie? Like,
Yeah. And also, why is he so bad at doing that fucking voodoo curse that he's been practicing for 30 years?
But it's a new, shorter curse now. It's only 3 words long.
I love how the clouds always like they use the same effect in all the first couple movies, like when the clouds start coming over the building, and I feel like, do those clouds have personality? Like, gosh, Chucky's doing his little voodoo curse. Come on, get over the building.
We gotta watch.
it's like all
guys.
the servers singing "Happy Birthday." All the clouds gathering.
Oh, I love this part.
Oh, good. Chucky's doing his thing good.
Yeah, why doesn't he just start possessing everybody there? Why is he killing everyone? Why not just go possess everybody?
Yeah. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Like the possessing thing just doesn't make sense at all because it's like, hold on. So is it like, are all of these Chuckies now kind of acting independently? Is it one mind that's kind of controlling them all? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Like how, and then also like he possesses Nika, but like is possessing them the same as trying to get his body? You know, the whole plot is him trying to get his soul out of a doll.
Motivation.
That's
what we're talking about here, right?
But now he's not taking his soul out. He's just making another thing a Chucky. And I don't get it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, I think so. The whole purpose of these movies is you want to see Chucky killing people, and like I feel like when they start introducing too much like story, it kind of convolutes it.
Yeah,
I think you could keep it as simple as Chucky needs to
get into a body, and he's going to kill whoever is in his way, basically.
Yes,
and so that's where you get the death toll, and it makes sense.
I did like the scene where like Nika is like, why does she try to kill herself? Something happened. Oh, it's when she finds out. Oh yeah, Jennifer Tilly shows up and reveals that she is now the guardian of, is it Alice? Whoever the little girl is from the first.
Yeah, the girl
from Curse of Chucky. Reveals that she's dead. Nika tries to kill herself, and as she's bleeding out, Chucky shows up and sews her back up.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Not
little.
so fast.
Yeah.
That's how do we feel about that?
You know, he's been in the time he's had since he's got so many other bodies now. He's had the time to like pick up, you know, basic
some minor surgical skills.
So yeah, some surgical skills. So
I've been
like
gone
some
for
light
4
medical
years.
training.
I was in medical school.
Dr. Chucky. Yeah, I don't
He
get
did
it,
some
man.
studying in those cocoon times.
Hold on.
He's got books in there.
My page is going off. They need me uptown at the hospital. I'll be back.
You know,
busy.
dude, so listening to you do the voice reminds me, I was watching an interview with it was recent. It was an interview for this film, and it had like pretty much the whole main cast and Don Mancini, and the guy was asking Brad Dourif about his voice. And he was like, you know, you've been doing Chucky, you know, since the 30 years. You've been doing this Chucky voice. And, you know, as people age, their voices might change, you know, whatever. He's like, he's like, how is it different voicing Chucky now, than it was back then? And you know what he said? Like, this is something I feel like I want to watch all the movies in a row and see if I can kind of pick up on it.
Okay.
But he's like, when we made the first film, Chucky was from Chicago. And he's like, and in the first movie, I kind of have a like Chicago accent.
Okay.
And he's like, slowly as the movies kept going, Don Mancini was like changing that. And at one point decided that he should be from New Jersey.
Okay.
So he's like the accent kind of changes between the first film and the end. And I'm like, that's a weird thing. You know, that's just like a weird behind the scenes thing that probably no one has ever watched, you know, Child's Play 1 and then Cult of Chucky and be like, why's he got a Chicago accent in one and a New Jersey accent in the other? But I kind of want to like see if I can pick up on that.
Yeah. No, I like that. Like
No,
he has to work on like losing his accent.
No, you just got to do a Rocket Raccoon voice, and it kind of sounds like
It's
Chucky.
super.
Then you're good.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
really
matter.
close.
So there's kind of it's not really a twist, but near the end of the movie, you get something that happens that kind of changes the course of direction of where the Child's Play movies could go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, through this sequence of events, Andy is locked away. He can't help, and
He gets himself,
he
in.
gets himself in a jam.
He assaults a guard. Which I guess you should.
And they
Doesn't
lock
that
him
usually
up.
make you go to jail rather than going directly into the mental
I know, right?
facility?
I thought that was weird. I was like, oh, he punches a cop and they put him in a mental institution,
Yeah,
not like.
but they don't
jail.
bother to change his clothes and
Yeah.
like get him into whatever the
Just put him
standard
through it.
issue is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, he's fine.
Chucky takes over Nika's body.
Mm-hmm.
She's able to walk.
Yeah,
And wear high
that doesn't
heels.
make any sense.
She adapts like a New Jersey accent.
Accent, yeah.
Yes.
And she walks out of there to a waiting Jennifer Tilly, and then they start making out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
I called that right before it happened. I was like, they are about to kiss.
All right, Abby. So tell me what do you think about all that?
I mean, I didn't hate it, but like also I saw this movie. I watched Cult of Chucky before I watched Bride of Chucky. So if I were to have watched that in reverse order, I probably would have had the feeling of revulsion, which I'm assuming Jake experienced because I don't like that character and I didn't want to see her brought back into the film at all. And I think that Curse of Chucky was a pretty decent movie, and Jake, you obviously did. So I felt like it was it was not a welcomed like.
It almost feels like a step backwards.
Yeah,
Like I
feel-
I didn't
It
want to
is,
see
it
that
is.
crossover at all.
That's my main issue with this movie. If this movie would have came out and Cult or Curse never came out, I don't think I would dislike it as much. I would just be like, oh, it's silly. It's just a silly Chucky movie. That's what I would think. But when Curse came out, they fixed all of the bullshit, you know? Like they fixed all of the weird, silly, they made it a good movie again. And then this movie just turns right around, right back into like overly silly terror. There's a scene in this movie where 3 Chucky dolls are all like bickering with each other.
Dude.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and this movie ends, and instead of just, my biggest problem with like Seed of Chucky was that you have Chucky, Tiffany, plus 2 other dolls.
It's too many
You know what I
goddamn
mean?
dolls.
You don't need 4. You don't need 4 in this like family. And now you have human Tiffany, you have doll Tiffany, you have Nika Chucky, and then there are every other fucking Chucky doll is a Chucky. You know, you still got the head that's at Andy's house.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 other Chucky dolls. You know what I mean? Like Don Mancini, I don't know like exactly. I know he was like, oh, I need to figure out a way to kind of up this. So that's what he did. But I don't think he thought about if he's going to make another film, what's he going to do? He can't have like 10 Chuckies. Like, what's the plot of this movie at this point? He's going to have to. Nobody's going to fucking want to watch a movie where Chucky's not in a Chucky doll.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch Nika is Chucky a whole movie.
Right.
So he's going to have to make up some bullshit that takes place in between movies.
Maybe there could be an actual
when the
cult that gets together, because there was never one in this movie that like repurposes and puts them back together. That would have made like way more sense.
I don't know. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be some stupid rule where like, oh, so I could possess other things, but it only works for a certain amount of time.
Right.
That's what they're gonna do. So the movie's gonna start, and he's gonna be back in the Chucky doll, you know, and it'll be like, oh, well, that curse, you know, I didn't read the whole fucking thing. So it's gonna be something
It
dumb
was a
like
shortened
that.
curse, so it didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be something dumb because he didn't like. he's making up these rules and not paying enough attention to what he's writing to make any of it make any sense.
So, a couple questions. Andy was still locked away in the asylum, correct? When it ends.
It ended like that, yeah.
Why did he not bring Chucky's head with him for the road trip, at least just for company?
At least, like, I don't know.
Just to get him out of the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, or like HOV lane possibilities.
Does he get like a head sitter to stop by and like do some extra like torture like when he's not there? You know.
Well, actually, yeah.
Well, we know.
Oh yeah! Oh shit!
That's
he
exactly
does.
what he
That's
did.
does.
So we'll get there in a second. So, yeah, I think the best way to describe Cult of Chucky is that it's awesome we're still getting these movies. It feels like they're going to continue. It's kind of all over the place. It just doesn't feel. It's tight.
There are parts that like I didn't hate, like, and I would have liked to see like further, explored. But
there's some good kills in this movie. So the one kill kind of feels like they were going for like, let's do a kill that's going to be so iconic, everyone will be talking about it, and it kind of is like whatever. It's with the compressed air going through the glass ceiling.
Yeah, but you know what? What's stupid about that is that Abbey, you'll remember because you just watched it, but in Bride of Chucky, they literally kill somebody by throwing something at glass that's above them and letting it rain down on them. Yeah. And it's better in that movie than it is in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like in this movie, all that glass falls, but only the one piece cuts her head off, but the rest of her body's like not even touched by the glass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like too slick.
Also, when Chucky, okay, guys, there's the one guy who's got like the multiple personalities. He thinks he's Michael Phelps. He thinks he's Mark Zuckerberg.
And he thinks he's Chucky for the last third of the movie.
He thinks he's Chucky. He doesn't even get possessed. He's just
stupid.
He's like, he's like, he thinks he's Chucky, but he doesn't know anything. Like, it'd be like, okay, if you're really Chucky, where did I try to kill Andy when he was a teenager? And he'd be like, Fuddruckers. No, Space Camp. Was it Space Camp? It was a military school?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound familiar. So yeah, this movie had a post-credit scene. Let's talk about it. So the movie ends with Nika and what's Jennifer Tilly's character's name? Tiffany. Nika and Tiffany, they make out. They're on to greener pastures. God knows what that means. And then you get a post-credit scene. It's back at Andy's house, where Chucky's head is still, watching Hannibal.
Yeah.
Just on the table. Yeah, he left the TV on.
Left the TV on. It's like when you have a cat.
Yeah.
You leave some music on.
Definitely. I always leave cartoons.
And then there's a mysterious character who comes through the door. What does she say? I don't remember what she says.
I watched it twice. I don't remember either. I just remember
something along the lines of like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm back.
I got a hat."
And it's who is it, Ab?
It's Kyle.
It's Kyle from Child's Play.
Christina Elise.
It's from Kyle from Child's Play 2, the same actress.
Same hat.
It's kind of, it's cool. It's like the fan service thing, right? It's to get people like, but maybe she'll be in the next movie. Like,
I'd like to see that, yeah.
She's a good character.
It made me, like, just wanted to see more of it. And it kind of pissed me off because I was like, dude, like, why not use her more? Because I really liked her as a character. And
well, we didn't talk about it too in depth. What did you like about her in the second movie?
I thought that she was strong and smart and capable and, like, likable. And I like those kind of, like, against the grain, misfit, misunderstood characters like Taryn from Dream Warriors. And she kind of reminded me of her. So I was just into her right off the bat. I think maybe they could have put her inside of the mental hospital, like, as the understanding nurse or something like that, or a therapist or something, and
that would have been a lot like Dream Warrior.
Yeah, that would have been almost too much. But
they should just put Heather Langenkamp in there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the blonde nurse who works at the facility.
Yeah.
Do nurses
dress
way
like
too
that? Attractive? No, like that's one of the things about the movie that was like, I was like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Right? What about the scene? So there's the crazy woman.
It's like the Blink-182 nurse. Is what it is, basically. Enema of the State. Star. Yeah.
There's like the crazy woman in the asylum who thinks Chucky's her kid.
Oh, yeah. That could have been its own story. Is what I said. It could have been
breastfeeding him at one point.
Yes, and mother of Chucky.
He's like,
He got to taste some titty today.
yeah, I sucked some titty today.
Yeah. Oh,
Good.
there he is.
Good for you, Chuck.
Good job.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Good
how
luck,
like
Chuck.
she's like, this is my baby.
The postpartum mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought that could have been its own story, like, or its own movie, because I feel like that is kind of interesting and creepy to see a woman try to nurse a doll and carry it around like that, and to have it be Chucky. I thought that could have been kind of cool, but it was like one of many things going on within the movie. So
yeah, Cult of Chucky. It really is all over the place, and it. I would call it. I think I liked it better than you guys. I think it's a worthy addition to the franchise, only because the franchise has always been all over the place, right? Or at least it has been for the last 20 years. Can you guys believe that Bride of Chucky is 20 years old?
that's crazy.
I mean, I feel like it just came out yesterday. Probably because we just bought it yesterday.
Did it just come out a year ago?
Yeah.
Jake has no reference. Jake's like,
way.
Jake's like, I like Child's Play 2 because, it came out early on in the podcast. We're on like our 10th episode. So, Child's Play, it's a fun franchise. It feels like it's... So, I was reading an interview with Mancini today, and he basically was talking about how he's got tons of ideas of where to go. And, yeah, if people, if it does well, if people buy it, if people stream it, I assume that they'll keep making these.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they're going to keep making them, and that's fine. Like it bums me out to have it confirmed that he doesn't really care about having like a consistent tone. Like that's the thing that bothers me the most, is that I like when they're a little more serious, and I thought that he was like, we're getting back to that. And then this movie just like affirmed that no, he doesn't give a fuck. It's just like whatever he feels like writing it.
Right.
Whatever. Oh, this one's gonna be silly. This is the kick I'm on right now.
Right.
So that's a little weird to not.
I don't like change. I fear change.
To not know. It's just like, when you're doing a series of movies, you kind of want them to feel the same, and these just don't. It's just like,
right.
It's all over the place. I'm not gonna like. It's still. I'm still happy to get another Chucky movie, even if it is silly. Like,
right. There was another interview with him, and they asked him if he's considered like rebooting, like doing almost like an ultimate Chucky universe, where basically you have this continuity, and then you have almost like a multiverse. And he was like, "Yeah, I've thought about it. I'll probably do that too."
Army of Chucky.
Yeah. He wants to do everything. He has talked about how he has an idea for like a Freddy versus Chucky. He has talked about putting like, all the old horror movies, like once they would hit that spot where they would all end up in space. Like he has talked about a Chucky in space movie. Like he doesn't care. He wants to do it.
We talked about that once. The plot would have been something along the lines of like the astronauts are going to space, and one of the wives gives them like a Chucky doll as his gift.
Yeah.
To go to space with him.
Yeah. He doesn't know what it is. It's just like this really big brown paper box.
He's like, I bet this is space food.
Yeah.
This is astronaut supplies.
But the one thing about Chucky in space that I'd miss is like his little run, because of the anti-gravity. You would get to hear his little feet squeaking when he runs. I love the Chucky run, like when you don't really see just the top of his head.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite.
I can't even fucking get around. I'm floating all over this goddamn ship.
Hey, do you ever wonder like why? So like if you've lived your entire life in a doll's body,
yeah,
do you think that maybe you'd be like, you know what? Like I am a doll, but I'm gonna change these clothes.
Yeah.
No, like, I could get more. Like
I could
children
do better.
Exist this small. I can get different clothes.
Yeah.
Also, do you ever? Another thing that I wonder about is like we kind of touched on it earlier about how Chucky was talking about. He made the Hannibal reference. So since Charlie Ray's death in 6 or 8 or whatever, we have seen every bit that character has been alive.
Right.
Basically, because he dies at the end of every movie, and he's resurrected. You don't see. There's no Chucky downtime. When he's alive, he's after somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to think, if he's been dead for all those times, like how does he have any reference for any kind of pop culture anything.
Right.
He would not know. They make fun of that a little bit in Bride of Chucky because she's like, why are you still using a knife? You know, he's like, we do. And he's like, what are you talking about? But he would literally not know anything about the world. He wouldn't know anything about
Captain America.
He wouldn't know what the internet is. You know what I mean? He wouldn't know shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he spends all his time, his short periods of like consciousness
the movie,
trying to kill somebody.
Because kids are smarter these days. They've got the internet, they've got smartphones, they'd be able to outwit them.
But don't you want to see like the next film not even be about him killing anybody, but just be like
him adapting,
just like existential crisis Chucky, like him being like, you know what?
What am I even wearing?
I'm a fucking doll. Like I'm just gonna. He like it should be about him learning about like acceptance and people being like, hey, you're doll. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like you can be a doll if you want to be a doll. You know, and him just being like. Him just like realizing he's wasted his whole life not knowing anything but like
he goes to anger management.
So this is also implying that it makes sense that he would not have any frame of reference for like any modern technology, pop culture references or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this implies that when he was a human as Charles Lee Ray, if somebody came up to him and said, "Hey, did you know that there are more clothing options available for dolls than denim overalls and striped shirts?" He'd be like, "No, there's not. I don't think there is. That's the only thing possible."
Get him into an American Girl doll store.
Like, does he age? I want to see like Chucky growing old in that body.
Yeah, he's an old man.
Yeah,
he's been doing this for a while. I love this hypothetical conversation about why is Chucky? Like, what makes him
like Chucky handing Andy his smartphone to like try to help him download.
Like, do you think if just in the middle of a movie, like, say it was just a normal Chucky movie, he's trying to kill Andy, all of a sudden he sees somebody using an iPhone, and the movie just stops, and he's like, "Wait, hold on,
what is that?
What is that?
Right?
What are you doing?" You know,
they're
like,
what
I'm
on Google Maps. What?
Yeah. Or
what's
they're like
Google? You know, he's so dumb. What's Maps?
or no, they go Siri, who is Charles Lee Ray? And then it comes up and it's like Charles Lee Ray was a serial killer, killed this many people, like died, stories were that he, all this shit, and he would be like, how the fuck does that thing know everything about my life?
And it spoils his secret.
He'd be like, so some bitch named Siri knows voodoo too and got into that goddamn phone.
Guys, do you think we could get Don Mancini on this show?
God,
yeah, sure.
So.
Can we pitch him our ideas? Because I think at this point, these movies are so crazy, he would listen to us.
Yeah. There'd be an app called iChucky, and it would tell him like where the nearest potential victim is and what kind of knife or stabbing apparatus he should use.
Yes, and the icon is just that little paper box with like the little address.
I want to see a movie where other people have learned this like voodoo curse.
Yeah.
Other people know it.
Yeah.
He's not the only person he was taught it by another
guy
that
online.
he killed in the first film. So I want to see a movie that's like in the future far enough where people have learned, hey, this is a way you can cheat death.
Yeah.
You can put your body into something that doesn't age like a doll. And now we're in a world where like 50% of the population are dolls. And other people are like, it's either like, oh, we don't serve your kind around here.
Oh, yeah, there's like prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Chucky's like, well, fuck, now everybody knows this. Like, everybody's a doll now.
Yeah.
And it's cool to be a doll, so I don't have to kill anymore.
Chucky becomes a civil rights leader.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. He becomes like the Charles Xavier of all the dolls.
Yeah.
Andy is Magneto, and he's like, fuck that. We got to kill all of them because they don't understand.
I like it. They're never going to be like us. So it's all about self-acceptance.
Guys, we have taken this somewhere so special.
It's touching. I'm touching. It's good.
I'm touching. All right. So one more thing, and I feel like I should jump back into whatever. So
I don't want to leave where we were.
I just want to say one of my favorite scenes in the whole series is that scene where we first see Chucky come to life in Child's Play 3, and he's controlling all the toys against the guy. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's so cool.
I like how he uses toys for the kills, like in the first 2 or 3 movies. Like that's a consistent thing that I like a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think all the spitballing we just
Like when he does the little Gerald's game with the jump rope with Andy in the second one.
Oh,
It's fun.
Charles game.
That's Charles's game.
Charles. Game.
Chucky's game.
Charles.
Charles.
Where's my friend Charles? He says cusses.
Yeah. We hang out in the closet together in the office. It's so fun.
What I do like in the first two movies too, you get those really stereotypical like 80s CEOs who are like, I don't care what the goddamn doll did, just get the factory running again.
Yeah, drunk boss.
Yeah, for some reason at the end of part 2, the doll that like they claimed has killed all these people is just left in the factory.
Yeah.
Between part 2 and 3, and then they just like decide, hey, let's rebuild this doll.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? The teacher, Andy's teacher, who's kind of mean to him, and she really
Gets the air pump.
she gets the air pump.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not Aunt Meg from Twister?
You
know what?
I would have to see a picture of her.
It's not. I
that
just looked
face.
it up. She's somebody, and I got to figure out who it is. Well, I'll figure it out here in just a second.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's very familiar.
Yeah. She's somebody. She's not Aunt Meg. She's not, food.
No.
Oh, wait, she's in Donnie Darko.
Okay.
She's the like
Yeah.
she's the teacher in Donnie Darko who's like she's like super
Showing the
religious
videos.
and she's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but
she
she's
is in a lot
Donnie
of
Darko.
stuff. I was thinking of something specifically, but I can't figure it out.
She's got like
And-
that school marm thing.
So, anyways, Child's Play. The series will continue. Who knows where it's going to go? Jake, I loved all the ideas that you just introduced. I think that I don't know. Let's close on this, or let's wrap this up. How does Chucky compare to all the other horror icons of the '80s? Jason, Freddy, Ash, Michael Myers, like your main, Bruce from Jaws. I feel
How does he measure up? Where does
How
he
does he
stand?
measure up?
Well,
I
he's
mean-
a lot smaller than him for sure.
Okay, I like that.
But for me, I'd have to say that I think that the Nightmare movies, the Freddy movies, are my favorite. I don't like the Child's Play films nearly as much. But I don't know. What are we saying? Like Jason, Freddy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
What am I
Chucky is
ranking?
he's as iconic as any. Like everybody knows Chucky.
He is for sure. Yeah, he absolutely is.
I feel like people maybe aren't as familiar with the movies.
It doesn't have a theme song, and it doesn't have we've talked about that. Besides the song that we play, the rap, the Chucky song.
Yeah, CHUCK. But yeah, there's not the score to Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and Friday. All those are much more iconic.
Right.
There's not really a Chucky theme. It needs one. We're 7 movies in and been going for 35 years. It's time to get a score. Maybe that's another existential crisis that Chucky has in the next movie. I don't even have any good music that plays right before I kill somebody.
I think all of those 80s, slasher films, they all kind of, if you take the big, whatever, how many, what is it? So it's Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say Child's Play, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and I would also say Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
Those 5.
Right.
I think all 5 of them have movies in their series that I would rather watch than some movies in the other series. You know what I mean? They all have really good films, and they all have some really, really fucking low moments.
Yeah.
I think they're all pretty, saying who you think the best is just
Too hard.
It's just too hard. You can't do it. We did it last year. All 3 of us went through and we said who our favorites of the slashers are, and it's just that's just a personal preference. It's all. I think they're all pretty. They're on pretty level ground. The only thing that Chucky has above literally every other franchise is that it's the only one that is still being written by the same person, still has the same, look to the killer. It's still the same actor,
Continuity.
voicing. It's still the same. There's no reboots in Child's Play. It's the only one that's still going, and it seems to be that it's not going to get it's just going to keep going. Until Don Mancini is until he decides to hang it up, which probably isn't going to be until he's too old to do it.
Right.
I think he's going to keep making Child's Play movies. So,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And there's
And I
really no
respect it,
point
yeah.
in like trying to. Sorry, I was just laughing at something. There's no point in trying to reboot it. There's no because especially if it's the same voice, especially if it's like the same look, like just keep going. You know, just keep it where it is. And like personally, I think it would be cool. I always am a big proponent of bringing in younger writers and directors. You know, maybe Mancini could like write it still, but like bring in somebody new to direct it and put a little bit
He's
more.
like a fan of the franchise.
Yeah, just put some fresh us, the three of us, writing and directing it.
I'd love to.
I just see. All right, we got the big pitch, guys. It's our big chance. Chucky has an existential crisis. Okay, and it's like what? No, I think, man, the movies are a lot of fun. We watch them, you know, some of them every year, and per our conversation last week, I think Chucky would be part of the new Monster Squad.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Or as I've branded it, Slasher Squad.
Yeah,
Slasher Squad. That's a good. Yeah.
I
Why
like
isn't
that.
this happening?
Slasher Squad is good.
Although he would be the biggest asshole of the group.
He'd be the
would.
Rocket Raccoon. Yeah, well, he's got that like Napoleon complex type. So I think it works.
He's like, don't I just get to kill these kids?
Yeah.
No, we need to use them to get back to, I don't know, wherever all the slashers are going.
Yeah.
Their world.
Slasher Town.
Slashville, USA. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well,
Slasher
guys,
Mash.
I really appreciate everybody's participation this week, all the listeners. We told you it was going to be Child's Play this week. We hope that you watched all the movies and are listening in. And like I
But
said,
not the fifth one.
yeah, don't watch Seed of Chucky. And yeah, this is good. So we're going to be doing this all month. We're going to take a different series of films each week this month, leading up to the end of the month. We got Stranger Things coming out. There's all sorts of new Ghostbusters toys coming out. We're going to be talking about all that. The Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles crossovers are going to be hitting Target soon. So we're going to have a lot to, New York Comic Cons this weekend. So we've got a lot going on, but we're going to focus on these franchises every week this month, leading up to Halloween. And thank you for everybody who voted in our poll. It's still up. Yes, have some group therapy. We kind of figured where we're going, but hey, could be some late entries.
Who knows?
I think we proved this week that
We could do Chucky again next week.
Child's Play again. Just see to Chucky. So I think our next episode we are going to be tackling Nightmare on Elm Street. It's probably my favorite horror franchise. I know, Abby, you just said it was probably yours.
And there's a few of them that I haven't seen, so I'm excited to watch those over the next couple days.
Jake, I think Freddy's your number one.
He's my favorite. Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's the best. He's the most iconic.
Yeah,
He's good looking, well dressed.
There's plenty of movies, and we listen. We might not all get to rewatch 10 movies this week, but I think we've seen all of them. We've seen the most important ones enough to anchor it, and we'll talk about Freddy. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll talk Freddy vs. Jason, the reboot, and where that franchise is going. And I would take Freddy vs. Chucky. I think that'd be a lot of fun. God, imagine the cynical nature of those conversations.
I know, right? They would end up just being buddies, I think. I don't think those
They
two...
both hate
I think-
kids. They'd
I
be a
think they
great
would
couple.
I think they would immediately be like, wait, I like this guy.
I like this
Yeah.
guy.
They would immediately
Fast
decide
friends.
to just team up. Like, I don't see these two guys fighting at all.
I think Freddy's version of Hide the Soul is a little different than Chucky's.
It's
Just putting it out there.
different. Oh, it's fun.
So yeah, we'll talk about Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, I see them both teaming up and hating Jason because he doesn't get their sense of humor.
Yeah.
Jason doesn't get
Jason
anything.
just keeps running into the wall.
If you put it's amazing.
Jason's like Charles.
Don't say swears.
He keeps talking during Hannibal.
It's amazing.
Mom. He's like, Mom.
Mom,
Freddy's picking on me.
you guys better not be lifeguards or counselors doing anything back there.
Oh my god.
Freddy threw Chucky at my face.
Nobody.
Dude, it's amazing that
Nobody
Jason.
looks out for Jason.
It's amazing that Jason,
He's got abandonment issues.
one of the biggest things in the Friday the 13th movies is just when you think you've escaped Jason, you turn around and he's there. Mm-hmm. It's not. He's doing that on accident. He has no idea where
He
he's
doesn't even know
walking.
he's there.
So he can't see it.
At any given moment, Jason's like, I don't know.
His eyes don't match up with that mask.
Jake.
You know, sometimes in video games there'll be a glitch where your character's just like running into the wall
Yes,
repeatedly.
that's what I was thinking of.
That's what Jason's doing anytime you don't see him on screen.
Chucky's napping. He's studying. He's learning how to be a surgeon.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Yeah. Freddy's literally
Industrious.
living in a different realm.
Yeah, he's out. Yes, exactly. Time traveling. Space traveling.
Jake, did you like
Bending
that one?
walls.
I'm just picturing Jason running into the wall, like
Over and over.
trying to. His mom's like, "You idiot!"
Oh,
He's
he
like,
doesn't
"Move,
have.
turn
She has
to
to like
the
pick
right."
him up by the shoulders and move him in the right direction.
You know,
Mom, I can't
Mom.
see this fucking thing.
Mom.
so you know
Why do
how
you always make me wear this mask?
you know how in Friday the 13th, like at the end of the first one, Jason pops out of the water. And it's like, oh my God, he's been at the bottom of the lake for 20 years. Like what you find out is like the water's only like 3 feet deep. And he's
Just learned how to stand.
yeah, he's just like hovering underneath it, like, but his mouth and ears are always
looking at a
above the water.
fish.
Yeah. Oh my God. What we're saying is Jason's a big idiot.
Yeah,
but we
he's a
love
big
him.
old dum-dum, but we love him.
And that's
we
why
love him the most.
That's why I think he'd be the one that would befriend the children in Slasher Squad.
Yeah,
For sure, for sure.
Although Troy Benjamin suggested this week that Beetlejuice would be part of it. But he's not a
Oh my
slasher.
God, yes.
Put him
Yes,
in.
and it takes place at summer camp. Oh, I like it.
Beetlejuice goes to camp.
Beetlejuice is a lifeguard?
Yeah. Oh, for
Beetlejuice
sure.
versus-
No, I feel like Beetlejuice is working in the kitchen, doing KP, peeling potatoes. He's disgruntled.
Yeah.
He hates everybody. He's putting gross shit in the food. Very excited. He's a meal planner, 100%.
And it keeps getting funny. Love it. All right, cool.
Can't
Guys,
wait.
we're having fun.
Slasher Squad.
Should we end this episode?
We should do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Yes Have Some Child's Play Breakdown is in the books. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We had a ton of fun. We're almost at 2 hours. We appreciate everybody's support. Please go to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts on a regular basis. Subscribe to Yes Have Some. Leave us a review. 5 stars. Helps us a
Hey.
lot.
You should mention the shop.
We have a shop now.
Ooh.
Kind of did a soft launch. You can head to yeshavesomeshop.com. Jake, you got a Jake design shirt in there. His Georgie design. We've got a couple other things we're planning coming up soon. We're going to be adding more stuff.
Kyle t-shirt's coming.
We talked about a Kyle shirt today.
I'm
Abby and I
working
did.
on it, yeah.
We need a Kyle shirt.
On it.
No, Kyle from South Park. It would be like Kyle. It would be the South Park characters and Bride of Chucky. It'd be great.
Crossover.
Total mashup. People love it.
So go to yeshavesomeshop.com. The absolute best way, like, hey, listen, we love doing a podcast. It costs a couple bucks to run this stuff. We want to expand. We want to keep doing a lot of stuff. We want to keep doing giveaways. So go to yeshavesomeshop.com, buying a t-shirt. It's a really good way to support the podcast. And we're going to keep putting tons of fun stuff up there. And we'll keep you guys updated.
We should
Facebook.
send the t-shirts in that giant, like, rectangular box.
Yeah,
The,
all of
brown
our
paper.
shirts will ship in the Good Guys box. It's going to be great.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
That's the dream.
False advertising. Last but not least, head to facebook.com/yeshavesomecast and also search for Facebook Yes Have Some Group Therapy. That's kind of our main discussion thread. It's where we talk about the show. Yeah, that's all she wrote. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Jake, Abby, anything else before we sign off?
End on a high note.
Nope.
You want to end on a high note?
Do it.
Like an actual singing high note?
Hit a high note?
No, I can't. I'll blow out my voice if I do my Chucky laugh. For Jacob Walsh, Abigail Gardner, and Charles Lee Ray, the Lakeshore Strangler himself, thank you so much for joining us. Chucky, any last words?
No, I got nothing. I can't believe this lasted 2 fucking hours.
Rude fucking doll.
All right, bye everybody.
Later.
Night, y'all.
Come out and play.
TV 55444, my name Chucky, baby.